Hey, we've been in the series for a long time. For the next month, we're going to finish out 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. And as I've been reading Romans 12, as we've been talking about it in our Thursday morning group, we just kind of come up with this, it's like this billboard of wisdom. And I just want, have you ever been driving down the road, 270, 255, whatever it is, and you see a church sign or you see a billboard and it just catches your attention? I love the one when you're leaving over the Poplar Street and it says, "Your wife is hot." You guys seen that one? Now get her a new air conditioner. You know what I mean? What did you guys think it meant? Jeez. My goodness, 9 a.m. You've had too much espresso. All right? So I just found a couple of my favorites. So I'm going to go ahead and throw up some of these billboards. "This too shall pass." It might pass like a kidney stone, but it's going to pass. That's for you, Tom Owen, as you're watching from home. Hoping it passes today. Anyway. Sorry, Tom. "Tweet others as you would like to be tweeted." If you're over the age of 50, you're like, I don't even know what that means. Anyway. "Do regular dogs see police dogs and think, oh no, it's a cop?" That's good. That's good. That's good. Keep going, Nicole. "The problem with political jokes is that they sometimes get elected." No pun. That had nothing to do with what we just did here. All right? Nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with it. Quickly. "Adam and Eve were the first people to not read the Apple terms and conditions." That's why you're an Android guy, right, Andrew? "God wants full custody, not just weekend visits." Man, probably should have put that up last weekend, right? Anyway. "Life without God is like an unsharpened pencil." No point. "Too hot to keep changing the sign. Sin bad, Jesus good, details inside." Honesty, I love it. I love it. "I'm not reading this one. You got 5 seconds. All right, keep going. Next one, Nicole. Some of you'll get it later. Last one. "Forgive your enemies." It messes with their heads. All right? So as we're reading Romans chapter 12, I want us to look at these 21 verses. Okay? If you got the YouVersion app, it's there. If you got your Bible, who brought a Bible today? Anybody? Oh yeah, get it out. All right, Romans 12. It's not going to be on the screens. Just that is on the screens. So 21 verses. I'm reading them all. You ready? "And so, dear brothers and sisters, I plead with you to give your bodies to God because of all He has done for you. Let them be a living and holy sacrifice, the kind He will find acceptable. This is truly the way to worship Him. Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good, pleasing, and perfect." Verse 3, "Because of the privilege and authority God has given me, I give each of you this warning. Don't think you are better than you really are. Be honest in your evaluation of yourselves, measuring yourselves by the faith that God has given us. Just as our bodies have many parts and each part has a special function, so it is with Christ's body. We are many parts of one body, and we all belong to each other." Love that. Verse 6, "In His grace, God has given us different gifts for doing certain things well. So if God has given you the ability to prophesy, then speak out as much faith as God has given you. If your gift is serving others, serve them well. If you're a teacher, teach well. If your gift is to encourage others, be encouraging. If it is giving, give generously. If God has given you leadership ability, take the responsibility seriously. And if you have a gift for showing kindness to others, do it gladly." Verse 9, "Don't just pretend to love others. Really love them. Hate what is wrong. Hold tightly to what is good. Love each other with genuine affection and take delight in honoring each other. Never be lazy, but work hard and serve the Lord enthusiastically. Rejoice in our confident hope. Be patient in trouble. Keep on praying. When God's people are in need, be ready to help them. Always be eager to practice hospitality. Bless those who persecute you. Don't curse them. Pray that God will bless them. Be happy with those who are happy and weep with those who weep. Live in harmony with each other. Don't be too proud to enjoy the company of ordinary people. And don't think you know it all." I had this thought in my mind, Bob, don't forget, ordinary people, all right? Don't forget about us little people, all right? Verse 17, never pay back evil with more evil. Do things in such a way that everyone can see you are honorable. Do all that you can to live in peace with everyone. Ugh, this is hard. Dear friends, never take revenge. Leave that to the righteous anger of God, for the scriptures say, I will take revenge. I will pay them back, says the Lord. Instead, here it is, if your enemies are hungry, feed them. If they're thirsty, give them something to drink. In doing this, you will heap burning coals of shame on their heads. Don't let evil conquer you, but conquer evil by doing good. Amen. 21 verses. We've prayed and we've fasted for this moment right here. And this moment right here, God is speaking to your situation, whatever your situation is. God is speaking the truth to your situation because God is for you and not against you. God's mercy has been extended to you, not so that you can go, look, I have God's mercy, so that you will now move into an area of responsibility where your actions will now line up with what you actually believe. This is where Paul is moving from. He's taken the first 11 chapters and he's saying, listen, God has adopted you. God's grace has been extended to you. His mercy has come to you. And now because of all of these things, I plead with you, he opens up. I plead with you. In what? In light of his mercy, in light of all he's done for you, I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to be a person of action. I'm asking you to take responsibility, to not just use your words, but to now put them into action. Okay? This is what he's saying. This is what he's saying to us. And so he's saying, because of all of these things, the first billboard I would say, he says, don't copy the way the world does things. He says, listen, because of the mercy that God has given you, this means that you think different, you act different. There's things about your life that is different. And there's always going to be a temptation to do what everybody else does. But at the end of the day, you go, God, what is it that you're speaking? What is it that you're saying to me? God, what is it that you have for me? I don't want to be like everybody else. God, I want to be who you created me to be, so I'm not just a copycat. We by nature, human beings, when we're left to ourselves, we copy. He's saying, stop. Don't copy the customs of this world. Don't copy the way the world does things. What? Let God transform you by changing the way you think. Amen. He's saying, listen, the way you think is the way you live. What you say you believe comes out. When you say you're this, there's always going to be a moment that you get to defend that you're this. And it's not going to be in moments that are super easy. There's none of these billboards that you look at them and you go, wow, that's kind of easy. That won't be that hard. He's saying, listen, this is how you are to be transformed, by allowing God to change the way you think. You know why I don't have to do the way the world does? Why I don't have to do what everybody else around me is doing? You know why? Because he's saying, I'm the one that's changing you. And because I'm the one that's changing you, I have different plans. And this is the reason the next 18 verses happen. And he says, here's some billboards. Don't think you're better than you really are. What do I got to do for that? Like, be honest with yourself. Where am I currently at? This is the most difficult thing you'll ever do. The hardest thing is to look into a mirror and to evaluate where you actually are. Again, we judge people on their actions. We judge ourselves on our intentions. Okay? Like, well, I try to be a good person. Listen, Paul already said it. Who's good? No one. You know why? Because when someone says, like, I'm a pretty good person, cool. Write down all of your thoughts in a day and let's make them known. Let's let everybody know all of these thoughts. And then you might go, well, okay, I'm not that good, but I'm better than that guy, right? Which is what we do. What are we doing? We're not being honest in our evaluation. We're comparing who we are with that guy over there. So we're surrounding ourselves with people slightly worse than us so that we feel better on where we are. And he's like, no, have an honest evaluation of yourself. Right? If you ever watched any reality TV shows, Like there's a couple reality shows that while you're watching it, you feel bad for the contestant. One of those is The Biggest Loser. Like they put these skin-tight things on this person, and they say, go jump on a scale. And you're like, there ain't no hiding there. Like there is no hiding there, right? They get on the scale, and they're there for all the world to see. What is that? It's an honest evaluation of where you are. Why? Because when you know exactly where you are, you know where to go. When you keep pretending that you're not there, you're not making any movement. And now you're going, God, why am I not making any movement? Because you think you're better than you really are. You're not. Stop pretending. And then he says, speaking of pretending, don't pretend to love others. Really love them. This billboard of going like, no, stop pretending. Stop being fake. The world is seeing right through it. Stop all of that. They want something real. They want something authentic. So stop pretending. Really love them. And then you go like, well, what's really loving them look like? Well, really loving them costs money. Really loving them costs your time. Really love them. And which is why he says, listen, those of you in this room that are the body of Christ, you are the body because you play a part. You have a function. Church is not something you attend. Church is who you are. And because that's who you are, he says, listen, you are the bride, you are the body of Christ, and you have a function. And because you have that function, and then he lists those things. He's like, those of you that you prophesy, you have faith and you prophesy things. Prophesy. Those of you, you have the gift of serving. You just love to serve. Serve. Some of you, you are so bubbly, right? You're encouraging. Keep encouraging. Right? Where's Amanda at? Where's that shirt at, Amanda? Oh, she's downstairs teaching. Isn't that not so nice that she's serving? She's got a shirt on that says, no caffeine, all Jesus. You know why? Because that girl doesn't drink caffeine, and you don't want her to. Tomping, no caffeine. You don't want him to. I don't know what we'd get. You know what I mean? Like some of you, you need it. Why? Because she's just bubbly. She's so encouraging. He's saying, serve, encourage. And then he says, listen, you got the gift of generosity. Give generously. Give it. Why? There's some people you hold money loosely, you give it away. Why? Because that is your role. God has blessed you with that, and he says, give it away. Why? Because you play a part. He says, I didn't ask you to come to church and just sit and do nothing. No, you play a part. You are the body of Christ. And think about your own body, right? When you got I was about to say a man cold. That's what my wife calls it whenever I have the sniffles. She's like, you just got a man cold. I've had a cold for 2 weeks. Now you can't even say you got a cold because you got to get, anyway. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's like, achoo! I don't got COVID, I promise. We need some other shirts out, you know? Anyway, he continues, I gotta be good. Don't be lazy. Work hard. Serve the Lord. What words he use? No, I love Jesus. I'm so happy to be here serving the Lord. Serving the Lord. Thank you, Lord. Welcome to Life Community Church. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. So glad that you're here. Yeah, we love to take your kids and babysit them. Don't say the word babysit. You're teaching them. You right, Joe? We're teaching them. No? Yeah, but I'm so happy to serving kids. It's awesome. Just serving the Lord, just doing my part. My spouse made me come here today. I'm enthusiastic about it. This is awesome. I'm not being lazy. I'm working hard, just serving the Lord. Boy, I just want what you got. It is so contagious. He's saying, listen, he's saying be enthusiastic. It doesn't mean you got to be fake or you got to be something that you're not, but you got to enjoy what you do. You got to enjoy what it is that God's called you to do. That's why, listen, whatever it is, do it. Do it with joy in your heart. Love what you do. I mean, again, I said this a couple weeks ago. I'm watching these guys. out here working, and I'm watching them from a window, thanking the Lord that I'm not them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, these drywall guys, these other guys, I'm like, wow, plumbers and electricians. And I'm like, they love what they do, and they're getting paid to do it, and it's all that good, but there's smile, and there's good music playing, especially when Tim changes his Joy FM when it's in the middle of KSU is awesome. I mean, all these things are happening, but they're loving what they do. It took them just a hot minute before they figured it out, but anyway, they're loving what they do. Why? Because you got to love what you do. Whatever it is, he's saying, listen, however you're serving, do it enthusiastically. Later in class, he said, as if you're working for the Lord. You don't have an employer. You're working for the Lord. You can hide things from your employer. The Lord always sees. That's what he's saying. And then he gets into this mindset where he starts talking about relationships. And this is where Romans 12 gets difficult. He says, be patient in trouble. Be patient in trouble. He gets into these, how we are to love. How are we to love people? He says, and then he says something like, be at peace with everyone. Live in such a way that you're in harmony or peace with everyone. And then he says, bless those who bless you. No, I didn't say that. He said, bless those who persecute you. Now he's getting into this place where Paul's testimony, right? His story, who he is, what's happened to him, all of these things are coming out, and he's going, listen, there was a moment where I was the one persecuting. There was a moment where I was the one killing. This is my story. This is my testimony. And he's bringing this into light, and he's like, listen, this didn't work. It doesn't work to give people what they're giving you. It makes no logical sense to treat people how they're treating you when you don't like how they're treating you. So he's saying, instead, I want you to bless those who persecute you. He goes an extent later and says, how are you gifting the people that drive you nuts? He says, listen, this is what you got to figure out. How are you going to do life with people who are difficult? This is what he's saying. Bless those who persecute you. Bless your boss. Bless your spouse. Bless your kids. Bless the guy that flipped you off. Pay for his gas. It's like, well, I'm not doing that. Like you had me until that point. Like the billboards were funny and all that kind of stuff. You can put all that on the church sign, but don't put blessing those who persecute you. Or forgiving people. He says, listen, be happy with people. Be sad. Weep with people. Be happy with people. Be sad with people. He's saying all of these things because from a relationship standpoint, for whatever reason, okay, you and I are not God. And because we're not God, we don't get to decide how this thing works out. We don't get to keep cutting people off because we disagree with them. He's saying, listen, there's going to be a group of people that you cannot walk away from. Usually they're family, but there's a group of people that you can't avoid. You got to stop avoiding, and you need to figure it out for your health's sake. You need to figure out how to do relationships, and running away is not dealing with those relationships. Why? Because he's saying, I'm changing the way you think. And because I'm transforming the way you think, I'm asking you to deal with it differently than the world does. The world says, forget you. Jesus says, bless them. Oh, I wish I didn't come to church today. I got it. I get it. He says things like, don't be too proud to enjoy the company of ordinary people. And then he adds, and don't think you know it all. It's like, don't be that guy that thinks they know it all. Because you and I, we've been around those people, right? Where they just got all the answers. And if you've not been around those people, you might be that person. Like, I've been around people that have made up stories just so they can confirm that it's a real story. I just made that up. That's not real. He's saying, listen, be teachable. Keep growing. You've had experiences, that's great, but our experiences are going to be different. right? What draws us together might be a job loss, might be a divorce, might be whatever the thing that draws us together. But that doesn't mean our experiences are exactly the same. And because our experiences aren't exactly the same, that means I don't know it all. Like, we don't know it all. We have to be always learning, no matter our age, no matter what we've done. Like, we have to always be learning, because when we become the people that are so proud that we think we know it all, nobody wants to be around us. And that's where it becomes dangerous. You don't want to be the person that no one wants to be around, right? This is what he's saying. And then in all of this, he's saying, be kind. In all of this, he's saying two things, two words. Be kind. How? By blessing those that persecute you. By never taking revenge, never paying back evil with evil. In fact, he's saying, listen, it makes absolute no sense for you to pay back evil with evil. And instead, what he's asking us to do is that if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he's thirsty, give him something to drink. There was a time where I was at odds with someone in my family. And I remember, like, complaining, praying to God. You know what I mean? Like God, I wish you would just handle this situation, and whatever you need to do in her, it's cool. Like, do it. And I'll never forget, it was the oddest thing. The Lord said to go to the store and to buy the person their favorite 12-pack and to put it on their porch. And I was like, that ain't your voice. Like, that can't be you. And I did it. They weren't home. I got a text the next day. And it just said, thank you. That was it. And all I put on there was, despite our differences, I want you to know I love you. That was it. This is not a pat on my back moment. This was, you don't hear the backstory of the struggle of, like, I'm not doing it, God. I'm not doing it. The next day I had a meeting in the city that I didn't have a meeting that day before, but then I got a meeting in that city to where I was driving past one of my excuses was, it's 30 minutes away. Like, it's very inconvenient. Like, I had a friend call me and be like, hey, do you want to meet for coffee? I'm like, yeah. Hey, my schedule's tight. Can we meet where I am? I'm like, yeah. And then I'm driving there realizing, like, ugh. No. She's wrong. I'm right. And God's like, sometimes it's not about right and wrong. It's about reconciling. It's about laying a peace foundation for reconciliation to happen. Because I really felt like the Lord said, whether this person agrees with what you did or you just made it worse, it doesn't matter. You do what I told you to do. Okay? There's this point in Romans 12 that says, if your enemies are hungry, feed them. If they're thirsty, give them something to drink. In doing this, you will heap burning coals of shame on their heads. You and I, it's like, what's that mean? In custom, in those days, when you were repentant for something you did, you would carry a bucket of coal to let everybody know that you feel guilty for what you've done. Now, I don't know how we do that outside of saying, like, I'm sorry, I'm repentant. Maybe I put it on my Facebook, hey, everybody, I'm sorry, I was a real, horrible person, during this season of life, and I want to apologize. Maybe that way. In this culture, you would take burning coals, you'd put it on your head, and you'd walk around, and people would recognize that person is sorry for something that they've done. He's saying, in being kind to someone, you're forcing them to make a decision on how they're going to be repentant if they are. He's saying, listen, it's the reason the Bible says it's His kindness that leads to repentance. Why is God kind to us? He's kind to us because treating evil with evil is this crazy cycle that just happens. It's the reason Proverbs 15:1 says, a soft answer turns away wrath. A harsh stirs up anger. He's saying, listen, when you're soft, when your response is soft, it ceases the argument. It turns an argument away from it. Have you ever been around someone who's like, it's like they're looking for an argument? It's also known as teenagers, right? No offense, teenagers, but do better. Anyway, so, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you ever feel like you just want to argue? What do you do in that moment? Do you just keep arguing? You just go, no, it's how do I respond differently, knowing that the soft answer, how I respond, that I don't take revenge, that I'm kind when it doesn't make sense to be kind. Why? Because He's changing the way I think, and because He's changing the way I think, and because He's transforming me. Now I'm being kind in this situation. I'm being intentional in being kind, meaning no matter what you do to me, you're not going to make me be mean to you. I'm always going to be kind. I'm always going to do this. What do? In that moment, you're turning away. You're causing people to think differently. What is He saying? He's like, listen, you taking revenge is you becoming God. You're taking revenge. You're taking the responsibility like, I'll show them. He's like, no, that's not your job. Your job is, this is how you conquer evil. This is it. You conquer evil by doing good. Like, it's so unnatural. Yes, it is. Because our natural instincts is to one-up people. My natural instincts is to, like, you hurt me? Watch this. I'm going to take it to a whole nother level. Lived it. Living it. Right? And all of us in this room, stop categorizing people that they have triggers. We all have triggers. You got a trigger. Figure out what it is. How? Be honest in your evaluation of yourself. What's your trigger? Well, my trigger is this, this, and this. Figure it out. How does God transform the way you think when it comes to that trigger? Why? Because now He's saying, I've extended mercy. There's responsibilities that comes with my mercy. Do better. Be good. Why? Because of what God has done. He's saying, you are a reflection of who I am. And because I'm forgiving, forgive. Because I love, love. Because I'm kind, leading to repentance, be kind. Let's look at this in the Old Testament real quick. And this, I'll end on this. 2 Kings chapter 6. I'll read it to you. It's just a couple verses. Verse 16 says that the enemy is surrounding Elisha's house. And Elisha's young man with him is freaking out. He's fearful. And Elisha told him, don't be afraid, for there are more on our side than theirs. And Elisha prayed, O Lord, open his eyes and let him see. The Lord opened the young man's eyes, and when he looked up, he saw that the hillside around Elisha was filled with horses and chariots of fire. And the Aramean army advanced towards him, and Elisha prayed, O Lord, please make them blind. So the Lord struck them with blindness as Elisha had asked. Elisha went out and told them, you have come the wrong way. This isn't the right city. Follow me, and I will take you to the man you are looking for. And he led them to the city of Samaria. And as soon as they entered Samaria, Elisha prayed, Lord, now open their eyes. So the Lord opened their eyes, and they discovered that they were in the middle of Samaria. When the king of Israel saw them, he shouted to Elisha, my father, should I kill them? Should I kill them? Of course not, Elisha replied. Do we kill prisoners of war? Give them food and send them home again to their master. Verse 23. So the king made a great feast for them and then sent them home to their master. After that, the Aramean raiders stayed away from the land of Israel. Picture this for a moment. The enemy comes, and Elisha treats them with respect, dignity. He escorts them out. He prays for them first and foremost. God, I pray that they won't do what they came here to do. Sometimes that is the prayer that we need to pray. God, I'm getting confronted on something. God, the intention of why they are coming at me, I pray that that doesn't happen. Takes them outside the city, and this young man says, all right, we got him outside the city. Should we kill him? And he goes, no, We're not going to kill prisoners of war. What should we do with them? Feed them. He's like, huh? Like, do what? He goes, feed them. What's it say? It says, they never came at the whole nation of Israel again. Why? Because he fought them? Because he held down the fort and said, watch out, God's going to get you? No. He said, you know what, guys? Listen, you're coming at me because this is what evil does. See, sometimes when someone comes at you, their insecurity, their own hurt, their own bitterness, their own unforgiveness, it really has nothing to do with you. You know why you think it does? Because we've made it about us. Who are you to come at me? It really has nothing to do with you. You're just in the way. And instead of dealing with it right, we take revenge. We treat them in a wrong way. And then we go, I don't know why I have a broken relationship. You know why? Because instead of coming at them, you should just feed them. Give them something to drink. It's like, well, that's kind of weird. Send them a gift card to Tequila's and then go pick up their own food. So you're saying that I should do something nice for someone who comes at me? Yes. So you're telling me that this is what Jesus said? Yes. You're telling me this is easy? No. It's extremely difficult. You know why it happens? Because you said, God, I'm not copying the behaviors of this world. I'm allowing you to transform the way I think. And when you transform the way I think, who you are comes out. And when you come out, it turns out way better than when I do it. Right? Some of you are like, I feel like I've had this broken relationship for years. Yeah. You know what we should try? Be kind. Well, I'm not kind because they're not kind. How is that working out? How is it working out? You know, in sports, specifically in the sport that I get to coach, usually the person who retaliates gets it worse. You know why? Because you retaliated. Does it make sense? No, none of it does. I'm mad that you just kicked me, so I'm going to kick you back. Makes no sense. It doesn't make sense when I'm a parent telling my 2-year-old that, and it doesn't make sense when I'm 44 and God's telling me that. He says, Jamie, you can allow me to transform the way you think, or you can keep doing you. We've already learned in Romans, hands off, man. If you want to do your thing, do your thing. Just know it's probably not going to turn out very good. But keep doing you. Keep doing you. We're moving into a part of the Roman series where there's an expectation and a responsibility for how we live. Because one of the big themes in the next 5 chapters is Paul is addressing, he's like, all right, guys, no more hiding now. Like, no more hiding. Like, let's go. We got to be better. There's responsibility. There's maturing that has to happen here. Stop acting like that. And it's all of us. He's talking to all of us. You may feel singled out, but it's because of a situation that you're going through. And God might be speaking to you right now and going, hey, how are you doing this your way? And maybe what does it look like if I do it my way? And this ultimately comes down to one big word. And this big word is trust. Because the end of Romans 12, he says, don't take revenge. Trust that I am God. Trust that I am sovereign. Trust that I see you. I see you. I see what you're doing. Because in the end of the day, God goes, I'm going to honor your actions. I think sometimes for me personally, I do things because I want them to quickly change. So if I can say sorry so we can rectify this, it would be great. But it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes you starting by saying sorry or forgive me or by not responding how people thought you would respond, right? By not doing that, all you're doing is setting the tone for the possibility of reconciliation to happen. And you have to see it as that. I personally love when Hallelujah starts playing and angels start singing and we have this grand moment where we're hugging things out and tears are shed and we can move forward, right? But life isn't a Hallmark movie, you guys. Sometimes there's a longer process in there. It doesn't change the fact that we as children of God have to be different. We have to be different. Would you stand with me right now?